Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep you updated on the revelations coming from yesterday's attack up in Canada. We now know that the suspect who was shot and killed had jihad connections. We're going to check in now with Congressman Ted Poe, chairman of the House Subcommittee on Terrorism. But first, let's watch this and we'll talk about it.
But this week's events are a grim reminder that Canada is not immune to the types of terrorist attacks we have seen elsewhere around the world. Canada will never be intimidated. In fact, this will lead us to strengthen our resolve and redouble our efforts, and those of our national security agencies, to take all necessary steps to identify and counter threats and keep Canada safe here at home.
All right, folks, that was, of course, the Prime Minister. Congressman, welcome. I'm seeing reports that security along the U.S.-Canadian border has been tightened. Is that so, and how would we go about doing that?
Steve, that's my understanding as well, and primarily my understanding is at the legal ports of entry, they're just doing a more thorough job of checking folks going back and forth across the border.
Gotcha. Of course, we have a porous border in many instances with Canada. Does this attack yesterday and the attack the day before, also where a police officer soldier was killed up in Canada, does this raise new red flags in your mind?
It does to me that both of our borders, the northern border and the southern border, are still porous. People who want to come into the United States unlawfully and illegally can cross really through the southern border easier than the northern border. But there are places in the northern border where it seems to me that it's more porous than it certainly ought to be.
What do we do? In Canada, supposedly, this guy from yesterday, he was denied the right to travel because he was considered a travel risk. Because of where he wanted to go and for whatever reason. So to me, if a guy's a travel risk because you think he might be a terrorist or join terrorists, I don't know. I would let him go and make sure he doesn't get allowed to come back. Why would you? And what do we do? Do we not let people travel because we have reason to do that, and then just let them roam free?
The United States and Canada follow, I think, the same system that if a person's a travel risk of being radicalized and going and joining the ISIS or Al-Qaeda or any other terrorist group overseas, they're not permitted to really leave the country. As far as surveillance and following them, I think it's on a case-by-case basis, but they're not allowed to leave the country. Their passports are held so they can't leave.
Do you agree with that that procedure?
I think probably that's the best way to handle that. They go overseas and then they're going to be joining ISIS somewhere to cause harm.
Right.
My concern always is that people can be radicalized here and commit crimes here, leave, go overseas, and then when they try to get back in, that's making sure we prevent them from coming back into the country as well. So I think it's really the FBI handles those on an individual basis to see where they can watch them the closest, really.
Congressman, is there any way for us here to prevent what happened yesterday? I mean, we've seen someone get into the White House. I'm not necessarily talking about, God forbid, someone getting into the Capitol. But I mean, this kind of attack, if someone wants to do it and they're determined, or two people want to do it and they're determined, is there any way that we could prevent something like that?
We follow, our law enforcement follows these chatter on social media of these radical groups and keeps up with them to some extent that way. They are targeting now. These individuals have been targeting military personnel. United States military personnel, I think, has been alerted in the United States and law enforcement as well that they may be targets. But if a person is actually determined to do that, it's very difficult to stop that.
Well, you're saying that ISIS. And there's been chatter that they're targeting military personnel here in the United States.
there is an FBI
Warning?
bulletin,
Yeah.
warning, an FBI bulletin for not using the word target, but law enforcement and military to be
Yes.
on,
Yeah.
be concerned.
Gotcha. Congress.
not be necessarily targets.
Right, okay. Congressman, I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
Ted Poe, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming back.